Another Dent Digest live show. Got a special guest here today, Steve Brown. What's going on, Steve?
How you doing, Ryan?
Living that California life. Look at him with that tank top and the fresh hair.
Dude, you gotta wear a tank top out here. You're roast. I can't be wearing that full shirt. I'll cook.
So I want to go into last week's show real quick. Just a little recap with Ian from Mobile Tech Shade. Just kind of his history, how he came up with the Mobile Tech Shade, the trials that he went through, the tribulations of making it, and some of the new products he was coming out with. He's got some new stuff coming out at MTE, so that should be exciting to see. I'm a huge tool nut, and I love when you go to MTE and all the new stuff's out. And it usually sells super fast. I remember when Peter came out with the first VIP knockdown, and it was like a frenzy. People were all over the place trying to get this thing. So MTE's fun. Are you going to MTE?
Of course, I'm in LA. It's Vegas.
Hey,
it's easy. Hey. That's easy. That's an hour flight for me. It's a matter of are we bringing the whole family this time because it's Vegas, or my girl coming, or am I just going with my brother again? And but yeah, that's going to be an easy one. It's going to be interesting to see if it's as good or it's going to have as much tool stuff as MTE Florida, because I think the West Coast kind of lends more to the detailing side of things than the PDR side, whereas the Midwest and the East Coast have more of a PDR.
Yeah. It looks like the floor pan looks like almost everybody's there. I see a lot of collaborations of some companies together, but it literally looks like, if you look at the floor plan, it looks like every single company that was at Florida is there. I think Ultra is going to have a killer booth just because they're close and they don't have to ship all that. Yeah.
He didn't have one at the last one, so it makes sense. I mean, he's been working on some new tools and stuff. I got that new Ultra tool that's like the doodah.
Oh, yeah. How was that?
That thing's ridiculous, dude. Power. Like, you just go like, ooh, 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 and your fender dent goes away. And it's adjustable. It's got the screw-on tip. You can put different things on there. I use it a lot. I like it.
We got our buddy Matt in here. Hey, Matt, he's using your umbrella right now on this interview. So if you want to spin it around and show him, you can.
Yeah. And what about I'm using your umbrella to block the sun.
Little 80-inch get a grip.
Get a grip on the hood.
Look at that.
Boom. Let me put this back in there. So you can see who's joining in.
Yes. I can see all the comments. I'm bringing them on. They come on screen as they comment. So you see the comments, correct? They pop up?
I don't see any. I don't see anything.
Okay.
No, I'm not seeing that.
I don't know if you guys have noticed, there's a new platform here that I'm using to stream. Google and YouTube have changed some things, so I'm going with a different platform and just testing this one out. So you'll see a little bit of a different layout. Seems like it's working. It was super easy for Steve to get on, so that's what I want.
Yeah.
I want it easy for the non-techie guys that can get on here.
Yeah, this is my first time live streaming, so
And Scott Simpson's saying he's on the fence to go to MTE. Scott, I think it's going to be a great show. I think it's going to be more of the route tech guys than the Hale guys.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
So I think it's going to be a really, really, really good show. I think it'll be more networking.
Yeah, and it's Vegas, so
true.
You can't go wrong once the show's over. We're not going to be in the parking lot about to get arrested for the Drunk Den Olympics in Vegas.
You're right. That ought to be an interesting one. And by the way, I want to bring this up before we get into Steve's interview here. So Steve and I have known each other for a little while. We always catch up at MTE or on social media and BS. And like last year, we paid $90 to go to the education day at MTE and spent like 15 hours in the hallway just BSing because we're both old Dent Wizard guys. So we've got a lot to talk about. And by the way, he is the you know, the winner this year of the Dent Olympics.
By default, but yeah.
You know, got to put these up here a little bit. You know, this guy,
Right.
this guy, look at him checking out. How nice is that thing? That little jug that he got. Look at this winner. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I drank out of that thing for most of the night.
I remember. Me too.
The best part was look at the people's faces who weren't involved with MTE or the Drunk Tin Olympics, and they're like, as I would walk by with my big stein, you know, they're like, "Where'd you get one of those?"
You need to bring it this year as the reigning champ.
I'll bring it. I'll pass it down. I'll pass it down to the next. But you know, there was so much alcohol on it that it washed away the writing.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
I don't know what you're drinking.
Like, vodka.
So Jose says he's going to Texas to get some barbecue. I love Texas barbecue. Let me tell you.
Where you get barbecue from. Which Jose is that?
Jose Jimenez. That's right. Yep.
I see that there. Yeah. Okay. Now they're popping up for me.
Yeah, they're kind of rolling through. So Dave Fisher says the Ultra Fender tool has been back ordered and waiting for powder coating. Mine has just arrived today. He's excited to try it out. So is it something you can put different tips on the end too, right?
Absolutely. And then you know how the doodah is rigid, so you're limited to the angle that it is. The handle is adjustable in like 5 or 6 different locations, so you can move it up or back depending on what you want to do with it, you know, or how you want to, you know, get it in there. So Steve put some time into designing it, and you know, I saw it before he released it because we were up at Ultra. That's one of the great things about living in California is an hour drive, and we're at Ultra, so we can get stuff, you know, firsthand, or like find out about things before other people are even getting them. And he had shown it to me, and I was like, I'm in. So the minute it popped up on the website, I ordered it, and that day I made $500 with it.
Really?
So paid for, and I made it easy. So, you know, I may or may not have posted the video, but I had about that big of a dent, you know, roughly about that big on the fender lip of a Mercedes C-Class. And I put on that red tip, that that larger red tip that doesn't come off the tip, the one that Ultra sells, a padded one. And I put I took Matt's strong arm with the torch. I got that thing hot, and I was literally just like, boom, boom, boom. Like 5 pushes, 90% of it was gone.
What's the price on that thing?
I think it's about 300-ish, maybe, give or take a few here or there. I didn't really, you know, it was one of those tools where you're like, it doesn't matter, I need it.
Yeah.
You know? I can appreciate an expensive tool if it's made right.
Exactly. You know? Exactly. You know, some of this stuff, it's worth the money. You know, I've got to give a personal shout out to Mike over at B&D Tools. So I'm sure you guys have seen this. It's the prop and lock. It's been out for a little while. I had a little mishap with mine. So little issue with the pin. It seemed to get jammed up in here. He's never had the issue. I couldn't get it apart. Sent him an email, and that same night, probably within 3 or 4 hours, he called me. It was like 10:30 at night here. My wife's saying, all your California friends call at 10:30 at night because I'm in bed at 10:30. You know, I'm an old guy. Right. I'm out of the house early. And immediately wanted my address, wanted to see what happened, and shipped it out. So in our industry, we are super lucky with the guys that make these tools that no question asked and just fix them. You know what I mean? James Lee, all these guys, Todd Zimmerman. So we're lucky in this industry to have companies like this that just take care of things. And we're all hard on our tools. We are.
Yeah, I mean, they're not sitting in a box doing nothing. I mean, I was at this car dealership a few months ago. My light kept falling off. I couldn't figure it out. I called Mike Toledo. Mike Toledo gave me James Lee's phone number. I texted James Lee. He picked up the phone and called me right back, got my address, and emailed me parts to fix my problem.
Yep.
Got there a day or two later, done, handled, you know.
Yep.
And
we're very lucky.
Yeah, we're lucky, but also it's smart business because with social
Yeah.
media, you can piss off a guy in Miami and a guy in Alaska is going to know about it 5 minutes later,
Yeah.
you know? So, it's really good business. And he's actually hooked up my brother too, with the same thing. So, I mean, these guys are smart, and then we keep buying their stuff. So
Yeah.
my brother's on his third James Lee light in 2 years, and not because he's breaking them, because he wants more.
I've got a ton up here.
Yeah.
So, but let's get into your story. So, how many years have you been doing paintless dent repair?
I have been doing dents since 1994.
Okay, look at this old guy. Yeah. The old guys used to
Started
fix it with
with
a
Dent Wizard in 1994, October of 1994. My brother started first. I can remember him coming home saying, "Hey, I got a new job. I'm going to take dents out of cars." And I was like, "Good luck with that, jackass." And he went off to school, and I was like, "Well, you're going to school?" Oh man. He came back, and he was working his ass off night and day, night and day, night and day. And he got his first paycheck and showed it to me, and I was like, "Whoa, man, good money." You get me hired. He got me hired. We worked for them for a while.
How long
Obviously,
were you with the Wiz?
I was with the Wiz about a year or so. Things got a little squirrely at the end. Obviously, went through the lawsuit like many guys did.
Hey,
It
I'm
was
a
tough
lawsuit.
time.
I'm part of that crew. I'm the lawsuit crew too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, scary times though for a 20-something-year-old.
It is. But you know what? You appreciate it when you're in it. It's terrible. At the end of the day, you sit back and you're like, I learned a lot.
Yeah.
You know
when people say, "Oh God, you got sued," and I say, if I had to buy a business that made me the money I make, it would have cost me more than that.
100%.
So I wrote off the judgment as a business expense.
Yeah.
Paid on it for years, and then finally was able.
You didn't win, right? You took a little bit of a hit there.
I had a financial judgment. I won the right to keep working because California is a right to work state.
Yeah.
So courts here said, no, you're not going to stop him from working. Can't do anything about the monetary. They followed us with a private investigator. They did their due diligence to see that we were doing dents, and they went after my brother and me, and they got a judgment against both of us. Not having a lot of money to pay an attorney didn't help either. So it was a complete decapitation in court. It's just like lost. Boom, done.
Yeah. It was. I was $7,700 is what it cost me, and we beat them. So, which was, hey, we're lucky. Very lucky.
Yeah, you got lucky because.
So after the Wiz, you worked for the Wiz for how long?
A year or so, and then I literally, gave them their tools back, and basically did what I think a lot of guys did is say, "Hey, I'm not with them anymore. Here's my number. You call who you want to call." Well, they all called me, so I kind of laid low like most people do a little bit, and then I just went out there, and just cranked. And it just progressively, dent math. So you do $100 a day, you make this much. You do $200 a day, and then you get to the place where you're like, one day I'm going to make $500 a day every day, and I'm going to make 10,000 a month, and then that becomes easy, and then you just grow and grow. And fortunately, California is a very car centric state where everyone's car has to be perfect. Nobody likes dents in their cars, so I've been busy since, as busy as I wanted to be all the years of, being in my 20s. I was more about working and partying. But then as I got a little older and got serious, I use the term sometimes, I'm booked all day, every day, So, I'm on a lot right now, waiting. As soon as we get done, I'm going to go do about 10.
Taking money out of your pocket right now. Waste your time with me.
That's all right.
Just playing with my friends on YouTube. That's all I'm doing.
Right.
That's what my wife says. She's like, you're just playing with your friends on YouTube.
That's all right.
But so you're in the LA area. You got sued. You just started building a route. Are you more route? Are you more Hale? Are you more retail?
No, I do maybe one Hale car a year, and through the 90s and early 2000s, I don't think I did any Hale cars because I just was moving too fast. I didn't want anything to do with it. I do remember getting phone calls in the 90s where guys were, looking for techs to come join Hale teams. And they would say, oh, there's a big storm hit Kansas or Missouri or wherever. And I'm like, dude, I live in LA. I'm going to go out to Hollywood this weekend. I'm going to pick up a little honey. I'm going to have fun with her. And then I'm going to go to the beach. Why would I want to live in Motel 3 in, Podunk, Kansas, for 3 months? But one thing I never did was I never said, how much money are they making? I just thought, well, LA, I might have ventured that way had I known the opportunity and how much money a person could make, because some of these guys are doing really well.
Yeah.
I think the problem with that is you have to decide whether you're one or the other. My customers, they're patient, especially like if they know I'm out of town on a vacation or whatever, but people are only so patient if you're gone for 2 months doing Hale. What are you going to come back to?
Exactly. That was my thing. Everybody's like, why? I get asked at least monthly, why don't you go do the Chase Hale? And I'm like, why? It comes to me. Every year we're fixing some type of Hale cars. If it's either happening here, or there's so much military in our area that, they're traveling, they get hit on their way. And I'm like, why? If I can stay at home and sleep in my own bed and make really good money, why go play in Kansas for 4 months working out of a shed? You know what I mean?
No, I didn't. It didn't sound appealing to me in my 20s. And then now that I have kids and I'm established here, it just doesn't make any sense at all. Like I wouldn't want to jeopardize my route now. I mean, I have a guy that works for me, but at the same time, people still need to see me and want to see me,
Of course.
And there's certain jobs that I don't even send him to, because they're the big stuff is for me, and he's taking care of dealer work and things like that and small retail. But if I disappeared for 4 months doing Hale, I'd come back to a lot less accounts.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You would definitely lose them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. In this area, the problem in this area is these jack of all trades recon companies that are coming into the dealers. And so it's not necessarily about if anybody's any good. It's about the dealership getting one price package deal. They don't care. They're losing touch with quality, and they're more about that one sheet price. And primarily I focus on highline cars. So it's really disheartening sometimes when your Bentley, Rolls Royce, Maserati dealership says, oh, we're going to start using Jicky Jack Recon Company. And the first tool out of the guy's box is a drill,
Yeah, fresh Unibit. So you say you do a ton of high end cars. Is it mainly dealers, or is it?
I do both. I learned early on in my career that you can't put all eggs in one basket.
No.
So I've got a great retail base. I've got a shit ton of body shops. And my retail clientele is great. Early on in the business, I got into Porsche and Ferrari. And so I had Porsche, Ferrari, Honda, Range Rover, varying different dealers. And so I would get a call from the Honda dealer and they'd say, hey, call this guy. He just bought a new Honda last week, got a dent in it. I'd go out and he's got a baseball sized dent in his door. And this was 90s, so I'd say, it's $250. And he'd go, that's my car payment.
Yeah.
And I'm like, still $250 to do the dent. I can't, what you pay for this car is irrelevant, and you take it on the other side and you go to the guy's house with a Ferrari and he goes, hey, while you're here, do my Porsche, my Range Rover, and my BMW. Call me when you're done. Well, which way are you going to go?
Yeah, exactly.
So I focused on the Highline because the money was easier, and not easier, but like you didn't have to sell it so hard. The people that were calling you wanted you.
Yeah, it was just natural for you. You felt more comfortable.
Yeah, yeah, and then plus, like, let's be honest. You want to work on a Honda or you want to work on a Ferrari? I'd rather work on a Ferrari.
Because it's not smashed.
Yeah.
It's smaller stuff.
And it's sexy. It's cool. I get to go to these nice houses, and
So I don't know if you guys know, and if you don't follow Steve, you need to get on his Instagram and really watch what he does. Steve is the celebrity guy. He's fixing all the celebrity cars. He's doing all the fun stuff. Shane in here, he's asking, who is the coolest celebrity you fixed a dent for?
The coolest? Oh, God, let's see. I could run down a list, and then you could decide who's the cooler one. I've done Justin Timberlake.
I can step in with Magnus Walker's a pretty cool one.
Magnus Walker he's a car celebrity. I was just at his place a couple weeks ago. The other day, Melvin Agrista's house. I mean, 9 times out of 10, these people aren't there, but you're working on their car.
Sometimes you use their bathrooms, right? You use their bathrooms every now and then.
Yeah, I took a shit in Justin Timberlake's bathroom. I should have Instagrammed that. They're like, hashtag living my best life. That was funny. My buddy's the detailer guy for him, and he's like, no, you don't got to go to the bathroom. I'm like, no, dude, I got to go to the bathroom. And he's like, no. I'm like, seriously, right now. Pamela Anderson, I do, lots of basketball players, cars. But again, it's not like they're like, hey, dude, come hang out with me. Every now and then you meet them.
Yeah, I mean, you're dealing with their people.
Yeah. Kendall Jenner and Kylie Jenner, and they all live right by me anyway. So you work on their cars. Different singers. A lot of sports guys. Unfortunately, I'm not a sports guy, so at the end I'm like, so what do you do? And they're like, Super Bowl winning champs, football. And I'm like, I don't watch football. And they're like, oh, okay. Yeah, I remember I was talking to this one guy, and I was like, what, do you play basketball? And he's like, no. And he's wearing the Super Bowl ring, and he's like, New England Patriots? I'm like, I didn't catch it. And he goes, so you don't know who I am? And he goes, I don't mean to say you don't know who I am, like, you don't know who I am? He's like, you really don't know who I am? And I said, no, dude, I don't know who you are. And he goes, so you don't want to talk about football? I'm like, nope. And he goes, so what do we want to talk about? I said, we're going to talk about girls and cars, man. And he loved it because I had no idea who he was. So it was just girls and cars.
Sometimes those guys like that you're treating them like a regular person.
Yeah.
So I've got a good question in here for you.
Okay.
Matt says, what's the best Blacklist customer story? Steve's Blacklist customers.
Blacklist, like people that I won't work on their cars anymore?
I don't know. I don't know. Matt will have to explain that a little more here in the comments.
Is that Matt? Not Matt from
Get a Grip. The Get a Grip.
Get a Grip?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll tell you. So there was a customer. I went to their house, big ass Bel Air mansion, and it's a Rolls Royce Phantom, and they had a butler, and the dude barely spoke English. And I was like, is this your car? And he goes, no. I said, well, give me the guy who owns the car. And you talk to him. And he's like, no, you can't talk to him. And I said, why? Does he not speak English? And he goes, no, you just can't talk to him. And I said, well, and then I'm going to leave because I need to talk to the owner. And, long story short, we go back and forth. And I'm like, dude, get me the owner. So he goes inside. This lady comes out. And she's standing in front of him, facing him. She's standing 3 feet in front of me. So I go, hi, how are you? And he goes, no, don't talk to her. Talk to me. And I'm like, what? And I spoke directly to her again. And she goes, do not speak directly to me. And I was like, why? Like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
And it was like, she obviously thought she was somebody important or special. And, I got a little bit of hot blood in me. So I let her know that she was number one. And I
Oh
walked
my
out.
gosh.
Fuck yourself. Fix your dent somewhere else. It was funny because they must have never thrown away my card. And the next butler, a couple of years later, calls me and he's like, "Yeah, I'm calling you from this house, you know." And I start laughing. I go, "You might want to check and make sure they actually want me to come up there." So he calls me back. He's like, "Oh my God, what'd you do?" And I said, "I told that bitch to go fuck herself." And he's like, "Oh, she's a nightmare."
Jesus.
Uh, I got a few other ones, but no,
Got to
it's
save those for MT. You guys got to come see
yeah.
him at
There's some things you
MT. Get the good stories.
right. There's some things you got to tell in person because otherwise you get in trouble.
So where's
I
your
have to
brother
sign.
working?
My brother's probably at Galpin Ford right now, number one
Yeah.
Ford dealership in the world. You know, that's his big dealership. I had to convince my brother to open his eyes to the retail world and not stay in the bubble of Galpin. And luckily, he listened and started opening, getting Yelp going, um, and you know he's doing really well with retail now. Whereas before he had zero because he spent most of his time there because it's such a big, dealership that you could literally stay there all day and not go anywhere else. And as the dealer base changes and costs are being cut everywhere they can, you know, Dent guy gets squeezed sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
So he got squeezed a little bit and had to venture out to find more work, but it's working out for him because he's loving it, you know.
And the
You
name of
know,
his company is the Dent Force, correct?
Dent Patrol.
That's it. Dent Patrol. That's right.
Dent Patrol, yeah. He just got the lettering all down the side of his truck, and I told him he's got to get a little cop light on the roof so when he pulls up, he's like, whoop, whoop, Dent Patrol. Whoop, whoop. So yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I've got a question.
He's a great dent tech. You know, go ahead.
I've got a question for you. If you had to pick two tools right now that are your absolute favorite, old or new, what would they be?
Okay, well, we were just talking about that before, so I went and got it. This is old school.
Mm.
This is my baby. This is old school
So
Dent
everybody's looking at
Wizard.
this thing saying, what is he
On
fixing Ferraris with this slab of metal? But a little backstory on that.
the
That was called a
customers freaked
master.
out.
And that's what we were trained with back in the day. That was
Yep,
our knockdown tool. Like we literally
yep. So
pressed.
you would actually push with this tip. You know, where's the camera? You would, boop, you know, and you would polish this. Keep an eye. I don't use it for that. This is my hammer. And the reason why I like it is I love the weight of it. I never miss. I can look at what I'm doing and just bam, 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 bam. I never miss. So, you know, that right there. And then 9 times out of 10, I'm picking the Ultra Dent tools, standard straight with a, hockey stick puck with the foam handle on it. 9 times out of 10. The other option is the Ultra, probably a 48 or 50 with the screw-on tips with a slight bend to it. Every time. The other stuff in the box is for, you know, when that one doesn't work or this one doesn't work.
Yeah.
But those are my go-tos, and you know, I've been a Ultra fan for a long time. You know, because this stuff is just good, strong.
I have zero ultra tools.
Is that just because of your location, or you just don't?
Yeah, I mean they'll ship here. I just have
Yeah,
I've been a big dent craft guy,
right.
for a lot of years. I had a bunch of dent gear stuff too that I've had for a lot of years. I don't know. I mean,
You know what?
I would love to be able to go walk in the Ultra and pick stuff off the shelf. I have a problem looking online at tools with the measurements and saying, okay, yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. I need to
I
touch
can't do.
them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you, and that's what I love about Ultra being an hour away is that we can go there. You know, me and my brother will meet at 10:30. We'll jump in the car because we know at 11 when traffic starts to die down, we can be there in an hour or so. We spend an hour there. We chit chat with the guys. And, we're out of there and back to work. Um, but I agree with you. I don't like buying tools from magazines or
Yeah.
catalogs unless I know what it is because I lost the last
Yeah.
one or I left it in
And
a car or something like
I
that.
brought this up before we were on live. This tool, and I brought it up before I did an unboxing. These Reaper rods, man, I am telling you, this right now is my go-to. I absolutely love this thing. He's got 3 sizes.
Yeah.
It just works. It really does. I mean, it's got
I
2
need it.
options. It's got the soft bend here to where it's like a stand liner soft bend, and then the sharp. What I've been using it on is fenders because you've got this roll. It gives you so much leverage. You know,
Yeah.
if you're trying to get up where the headlight is and it's tight, you can't get it from the top. I mean, they're awesome. They're stainless.
He's designed a really good tool there. And I honestly, I'm a little embarrassed that I told him I was going to buy it right after NTE and I just got busy and I forgot all about it. And then I see it. So after this, I think once I go to Hawaii, I'm going to be sitting on the poolside, swiping, ordering tools.
When do you go to Hawaii?
August 8th, August 8th through the 15th.
Nice. Then you come back, you got a couple weeks, and then you got MTE.
Yeah, but I've had 2 nice little breaks. I had one last week. I took 4 days, and then I'm doing this one, and then it's like business. You know, I got to get out there, maybe pick up another dealer. One of those recon companies is snake their way into another one of my dealers, so I'm losing some work through that. They haven't taken all of it, which is kind of sucks because I get the hard stuff, but I'm just charging them more now.
Exactly. And Dent Fixer, he's asking who sells them. A1 sells them, or you can get them at dentreaper.com, buy them directly from John. The prices are exactly the same. So John's just a dent guy. You know what I mean? John Vidine, he's just one of us guys that came up with a tool, and he was on the show a couple weeks ago kind of going through some of you should see the first Dent Reaper because it is a janky piece of metal that he was, So where are you now in your company? Do you have guys that work for you? Are you solo?
I have one guy. I had another guy. Hang on one second. Sorry, I'm at a dealer. I'm almost done.
Steve's got to make his money.
Sorry.
Now he's
love me?
YouTube.
Telling me he loves me, and I'm not even done with the dent yet. Give me a few minutes. I'm on a phone interview, and then I'll finish up and I'll call you. Yeah. So this lady buys a Mercedes. A day later, goes to church. Crazy guy walks through the parking lot and starts kicking her brand new 1-day-old car. So, of course, the dealership's going to take care of it for her. And he calls me and says, "Hey, I got a car for you." He doesn't tell me what it is. I show up. I'm like,
"That's the worst,
dude. It's this big. Where's my hands? It's that big on a black car right by the tail light in between the gas tank." And I was like, I got to talk to Ryan in an hour. Oh, man. So I got out the glue and the cold glue, and I was like, boom, 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 just hammering it.
So you are a cold glue guy?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Which system are you using?
Glexo.
Okay. Did you use sticky tab tape or Sergio? Did you use any of those older ones?
I did not. So
okay.
I'm new to it, but I am a fan. It's a pain in the ass because it gets all over everything, and I lost the wax paper the first day. It blew away, So I'm trying to buy just the black sticky stuff from them, but they don't want to. I talked to the Russian guy over Facebook because his Olga wouldn't sell it to me straight up. And then I wrote him and was like, dude, and I think what he did was he checked me out on Instagram and then wrote me right back and was like, "Oh, dude, yeah, we'll sell you just the stuff." So listen, you got to be careful though, because sometimes it takes the dent out too fast.
Oh, yeah.
And you go up to a customer and you're like, "Oh, that's a $300 dent." And then they're standing there and you're like, You don't want to go inside and get a coffee or something, like, go away. And they're, no, 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 I'll stand here and watch you. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Boom.
I've been
There you go.
using the Sergio stuff and the sticky tab tape, and I want the Glexco, but I'm like, what I have works. I don't know if it's a big difference in products. I don't know if it's apples and oranges or if it's a green apple and a red apple. I don't know.
Yeah. I was intrigued by sticky tape, and I think what happened was I went to order it and they were out, and then it was like I lost interest. And so I forgot about it for a long time. And then I can't remember who it was, or I think I watched the video one day and I saw somebody just like killing a big dent with it. And then so at MTE, I literally got the last box that they had at MTE. It was, he literally was like, you get the last one. That's
and
it.
it's not
Sold
cheap.
out.
It's got a little bit of price, but the tabs are well made.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that was is I don't want to buy the whole kit again. I don't need those tabs. I just need the black stuff. And
yeah.
so I think if they were smart, because of it gets stuck on things and it gets, if you put it in your box in a hot day and it melts into the thing, you're in trouble,
Yeah, that box is it looks really nice when you first get it.
Yeah.
But as a mobile tech, I see it being an issue. You know what I mean?
It was an issue real quick for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm that guy, like, my brother is the exact opposite of me. He will work on a car, come out, he could wear a white shirt, come out, not a spot on him. I'll walk up to that same car and I look like the dude on Charlie Brown, just dirt all over me. So when I'm doing dents, I'm moving fast and I take that thing and I just instinctively, I just drop it in my box and where my glue tabs are, and then it's stuck on everything.
Yeah.
And when that wax paper blew away the first day, and I was like, oh no, now what? So I need some more of it, but I really do like it.
So what are you looking at MTE as in tools? Do you have any things you're like, okay, that's on my list?
I'm gonna expand my Keko stuff. I'm gonna get some. I want to finally get the bridge.
Have you been using the Dent Center tabs?
Yeah, I got those out. I got those at MTE. I think if CarePoint is there, I will invest in more of their product because it's inexpensive and it's the adjustable handleable tool. You can buy 5 or 6 versus 1 or 2 of the other, and I'll bring more of them home because flying from Florida to California with all my gear or all my clothes and all my tools,
because those damn tank tops take so much room in his luggage. He packs it in a lunchbox.
Listen, it was January. I was wearing full t-shirts.
Full t-shirts.
It's so funny. Like,
oh my god.
This is how I drove it. It's funny. I have girls that call me from like the accounting office of dealerships, and they're like, "Yeah, this is Cindy," and I'm like, "Oh, have I met you before?" And they're like, "No, but I know you. You're the guy in the tank tops." And I'm like, "Shit, I'm the guy in the tank top." That's how they know me.
He's the tank top guy with the umbrella.
Yeah, but look, I got like a horrible tan line. I got sunburned. Look at me. I got racing stripes.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I can't do tank tops. I'm sorry. Big white guy, big Irish guy in a tank top. Yeah, no, we're not doing tank top.
You'd be getting burnt. You'd be getting burned out here. Yeah.
I get burnt now. So, but so you're going some CarePoint, some Kiko stuff. Anything else really?
Yeah. Well, speaking of the B&D stuff, I want to get the B&D pliers with the longer handle or the longer arm.
So you almost need both. So let me stop you there. And I had a long talk with Mike. Mike's actually coming on the show in 2 weeks, I think 2 or 3 weeks. He'll be on the Fender Pliers. And I just found this out because we were talking to Vince and I was talking to Daniel at Anson, and we were in a rental car. And I'm like, what do you guys think? I'm going to buy some stuff this weekend. I want to buy them. And they're like, get the Fender Pliers. They're so much better. Well, the Fender Pliers have more of a bend on them than the regular. Say this is them. Look at me with a little.
Yeah.
it's harder to do door edges with the Fender pliers. It's kind of puts your arm at a weird angle. So he was explaining how you almost need both the Fender and the edge pliers.
I have the first generation straight ones, but I do a lot of Mercedes G wagons that the tire carrier cover gets dented, and so the longer one, I'm actually looking forward to, because when they get a dent, it's always on that lower, you know, so you got the big flat circle part, and then you got the 2-inch ring around the outside, and people always back that thing in thing. Well, that larger pair of pliers, I'm going to be able to crimp that dent out, as opposed to flipping it over in the back of a G wagon and wrenching on it with my hand, and inevitably you're coming up with a blister because those things are thick metal.
Yeah.
And I've even got to the point where I heat them up and I'm literally tapping on the backside with a hammer because my hand can't take it. So I mentioned to him at MTE, I said, listen, you need to make one with a longer thing so he can. And he reaches in his bag and pulls it out, and he's like, we already thought of it. And I was like, okay.
It's so funny though. When I bought those and I was looking at them, I'm like, man, his stuff's well made. It's billet aluminum. I mean, it's well thought out, well machined. And I look at it and I'm like, look at the handles, and I'm like, you got grandmama's broom handles on here. If you look at the handles, they're like, it looks like an old broom handle, like a vintage handle.
Sure.
And he's like, it just works and it's inexpensive.
Yeah.
Hey, I have no problem. I'm the just works guy. So
right.
Just works.
Simplicity. Simplicity is, especially with a tool that, I'm hard on my tools. I take them, I throw them down in my toolbox, and they may not see the light of day for a week or two, and they're going to roll around in there with other things. So, something flimsy and cheap is not going to work. So as long as it works and it's strong, I'm down with it because I'm rough on things.
Yeah.
My girl tells me all the time, I'm like a bull in a china cabinet.
I can see that.
So yeah.
So Peacock Dents is asking, what door tool is in your hand and the most?
That's the Ultra, the standard Ultra that's about this long with a little hockey stick thing at the end with the foam grip. I love that.
Is that the octagon handle? Is that the replaceable?
No, it's round foam, simple round foam one. Probably one of their, 2 or 3 years ago generation one. I have tools in my toolbox that I've been using for over 20 years that are tools that I bought from dent guys in the 90s that tried it in the 80s and couldn't do it. And so I used to buy tools from anybody who would sell them to me, because how like the police will buy back guns from the criminals, and they won't ask any questions. I was buying everyone's tools because it's like, well, the less people out there with tools, the less people are trying to fix dents.
Exactly.
And then I probably had at one time like 200 tools sitting on this big, Harbor Freight gray cart, those like workman carts, 4 wheels on them, and they got two. I mean, I had a pile of them on there, and I basically just started giving them to people. Both my techs that worked for me, they all started with the cheap stuff because if they lost it or they broke it, and then as they got better and got on their own, then I take them to Ultra and say, now you're going to buy your own tools over here. I met a kid the other day. It was probably about 2 months ago. I drove past this guy. I see an umbrella sticking off the side of a car. I'm like, ooh, that's a dent guy. Now, 10 years ago, I would have been like, who the fuck is this guy in my neck of the woods? I turned right around. I pulled up. I got out of the car and said, hey, man, how's it going? And it was interesting because right away, I sussed him out. And I said, how long you been doing dents? And he goes, 6 years. And I looked at his tools and I looked at his dent and I said, man, you ain't been doing dents for 6 years. He goes, how do you know? I said, because I've been doing dents for 25 years and there ain't no way you're going to finish that dent with the tools that you're using. And he goes, oh, is it that obvious? And I go, yeah. He goes, I've been doing dents for 3 months. I go, why'd you say 6 years? He goes, because if I tell people I'm new, they won't give me a job.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. So I'm like, let me see your tools. And I sat down with this kid. I had no idea who he was. And I went through his toolbox and I was like, you
This is
are
crap.
in trouble.
This is crap.
You're in trouble. And I went to the back of the truck because I always keep a ton of tools in the back. And I just start handing this kid tools. And he's looking at me with eyes like this, like, what? And I'm like, take this, take this, take this, take this. And I'm like, come over here. Let's sit down. I'm going to show you this, 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 and this. And I coached him for a good 30 minutes. And I mean, he was like, he would have thought I was the Rock. You know, he was just like, oh my God, you know, you're so awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then I sort of felt like, I think I need to help this kid, you know? And I invited him onto this lot that I'm on right now. And I said, show up with the tools. We're going to work and we're going to see what you can do. And the sad thing about it was he could not use a metal tool. He only knew how to glue pull.
What?
And he's all right at glue pulling, but I was like, dude, that's not reality. You know, reality is pulling is part of PDR, but not the only tool that you have. And
I don't know. We may get Tom Price on here, the glue pull king.
Right.
That dude,
listen,
glue pulling.
If you master something, years and years of experience, you will get better and better and better at things, and then you'll be able to pull dents that people will look at and go, no way, no way, no way. You know, this is a kid who's 3 months out of school, you know, and he came out of Ding King school, and I was like, man, you know, good luck. And at the end of the day, I said, keep these tools. Call me if you need my help on anything. Good luck. And he said, if I don't figure this out in the next week, my wife is going to make me quit and go get a real job, as he said. And I said, well, you know, let me tell you something. And I just broke it down, you know, dent math for him. And I was like, if you do this, you're going to make this. If you do this, you're going to make this, you know. And I haven't heard from him, so I don't know if he's, you know, still doing dents or not. Hang on 1 second. I'm sorry. Hang on.
Steve Brown's a busy guy in LA.
Right. Hold on. Ryan, talk about something. Talk about
I got this. Don't you worry about it. I got this. So I do want to announce I am doing a giveaway with some Anson glue. So we're going to do 2 packs, one of the Hog glue, Daniel Grom's glue, and one of the new tequila glue from Anson. And how we're going to win this giveaway. This giveaway is going to go, it's going to end 10 o'clock. Look at that. I'm in bed. It's going to end Monday at 8 o'clock. I'm going to go Facebook Live. And how you're going to win, it's super easy. You're going to go to my Facebook page. And yesterday, I posted the thumbnail on that thumbnail for this show. And what you're going to do is you're just going to go in there and you're going to comment Dent Digest. I'm going to take those comments. I'm going to write them down. I'm going to put them in a hat. And I'm going to pull a name. And whoever wins gets 2 packs of glue. Thank you to Anson PDR for the donation of glue. So I can give some stuff back to you guys and some stuff to, you know, help the industry guys out there. But you need to go to my Facebook page and comment on yesterday's post of the thumbnail of Steve about this show. Comment Dent Digest, and I will get it shipped right out to you. So that'll be Monday at 8 o'clock. I'm going to go Facebook Live. Steve's got to work, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Steve. Well, look, we're going to cut this. Steve's a busy guy. I'm taking most of his day, but, you know, we talk periodically, and I wanted to get him on. So do you got anything else you want to go over?
I think, you know, one of the things anytime I talk to somebody in the PDR industry is just like, you know, what is happening to our business, especially if you're in the automotive dealer world, you know, and, you know, like me and Joe from Dent Evo, we talk a lot about these recon companies that are coming in and, you know, how are guys handling and combating this type of, you know, what I call a cancer to the business, because, you know, if somebody does bumpers, dents, detailing, rims, leather, which one are they good at? You know, none. right?
And I say this all the time. I say that to guys all the time. They're like, why don't you do interiors too? Or why don't you do windshield repair? And I said, you know what I've learned over the years? If you're a jack of all trades, you're never really, really good at one of them.
Yeah, master of none.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, some of the work, I mean, this dealership that I'm at right now, the way I got this dealership was a guy that worked here worked at another one of my dealerships. And he transferred over here, and they had a matte finish Maybach, you know, the Maybach Mercedes,
Yeah.
like 300 and something $1,000 car,
Yeah.
right? So their dent guy tells them that dent can't be done, paint it. They factored that painting that car would have cost them $50,000 loss because it was you know, that finish, you have to paint the whole side of the car. The car wouldn't have been original, you know. And so this salesman says, I know a guy who can fix that. And he calls me and he's like, hey, man, you want to be Superman today and come save the day? And so I'm like, sure. You know, I love doing dents that other guys say can't be done. You know,
Yeah.
not that I think I'm the guy, but if someone says it can't be done, I love fixing them then. You know, that's sort of the reward of your 25 years of kicking ass and grinding. And, you know, you get that little, like, pat yourself on the back, you know, I got it. He didn't, you know. And
Yeah.
I get a kick at that. And listen, there are guys that I say this all the time. If they live near me, I'd move, you know, that they're so good, you know. But anyway, I showed up. I did the dent in 30 minutes, and everybody was scratching their head like, what, how did you do that? And I was like, well, it's pretty easy. I don't understand why your dent guy couldn't do it. Didn't ask who he was, didn't know anything about him. And then the GM says, can you come out to the front lot with me? And we go look at the used cars. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the worst PDR I've seen in years. Like, I think we did better 2 weeks into school at Dent Wizard. You know, he says he's been our dent guy for 10 years. And I'm like, huh? And basically, you know, he drilled holes in everything. And he drilled multiple holes. And not only did he drill holes, he would open the door, drill a hole in the door jamb to get to the quarter panel. And if that didn't work, he'd go up into the wheel well and drill some more holes up into there. And he didn't plug anything, you know. And I walked a lot with him and showed them what was wrong. And next thing you know, long story short, or I guess the long story long, I get the account. But the problem is now there's this recon company knocking on the door. Hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do that.
It's all money
and
too.
These, you know, these dealerships, they want a one set price. So my question to anybody who's out there is, obviously I'm not the only one, is how are you guys either competing or combating this, you know, what I call a cancer to the industry, you know, because I'm at the point now where, like, I'm ready to just go full retail because I'm tired of dealerships that tell me, you know, oh, you demand, you know, for years and years and years. And then some new guy comes in and next thing you know, everybody that had been doing either wheels, dents, bumpers, all gets fired. And then this jack of all trade company comes in, you know.
I think that's going to change. I think it's going to get to a point to where the quality's bad all the way around. And these guys really start noticing it. And at the end of the day, they're not selling cars or they're having comebacks. And it's going to get to a point to where they're like, it's not worth it. Let's get Steve back in. So I think you almost just have to keep those relationships and
I'm trying.
You know, keep going through it.
I'm trying, but that just, you know, I had one dealership since 1994 up until last year. You know, I had a 24-year run with a dealership. New guy comes in, boom, recon company. You know, and I mean, I see the work because the service department still uses me, and so they're like, "Hey, check this out." And I'm like, "Oh, oh, damn! How many holes are in that?"
Yeah. Well, you got to get to work. I appreciate you coming on.
Give away some stuff.
And I'm sure I'll see you at MTE.
Yeah. You know, and if you ever need me again, I mean, the only reason I'm getting off is I got a customer standing in a showroom waiting for their car.
Hey, Steve.
I took out a big dent.
We've been on for 54 minutes. We're good.
Oh, That's a lot of chitty chatty.
So I appreciate you coming on.
I had fun. I do it anytime.
And
Yeah.
what is your Instagram and Facebook page and all that? Get that out there so you can get some followers.
So I'm at dentmechanics.ca. So it's DentMechanix.ca. I primarily do Instagram for my PDR business, and Facebook is for my family and stuff. So Instagram is really the only one that I get followers on. Dentmechanics.ca.
So go check them
Obviously,
out.
there's other dent mechanics guys out there. That's why I put the .ca. All right.
Celebrity. Look at Steve Brown, the celebrity. I appreciate it, bud. Good chat.
Celebrity. On my knees in a parking lot with a pile of glue. Look at my glue. Look at all my shit. Look at me. Yeah, I'm a rock star.
I'll see you later.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks,
Bye.
man. Bye-bye. So anyway, guys, Steve Brown, great dude, just funny. I mean, he is a total approachable guy, so if you are going to MT, make sure you go and ask him, because you will laugh and hear some really good stories we're not allowed to talk about. But no, I appreciate you guys watching again. Another good night. Hope you like the new layout here. And like I said, I'm giving away two packs of glue. Comment on my Facebook page on the post with the link for this show. I'll actually show you what it looks like. It'll be this post from yesterday. It's kind of blown out. Dent Digest. And thanks to Anson PDR for donating some glue to give to you guys. So get in there. Comment 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. Here we go with the 10 o'clock again. 8 o'clock Monday, we will do a live drawing on Facebook. So get on there and comment. And I appreciate you guys watching. And remember, guys, keep it real. See you next time. Thanks.